Hi, everybody. So today I'm going to talk to you about two different surveys, one for my students and the other one for teachers and the use of technology in their classroom. So first, I'm going to show you the questions in my student survey. The objective of this one was to know a little bit more about them. So the questions that I added are: what is your name? What do you enjoy doing in your free time? How many brothers and sisters do you have? Do you bring your own lunch to school? What extracurricular activities are you involved in? What is your favorite thing about school? What is your least favorite thing about school? Which technological devices do you use at home? From 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy reading? From 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy writing? Do you think you're smart? Why or why not? So, as you can see, all of these questions are to know a little bit more about the developmental capabilities and limitations of my students, the access they have to technology, the extracurricular activities or responsibilities they have after school, if they have special needs, if they think they are smart or if they think they have limitations, their interests, hobbies, skills. So it was really interesting applying this survey. I found really good things that I didn't know before about my students. And it is important to say that my students are in middle school. So in this group specifically, they are in eighth grade. And well, these were some of the answers. Their least favorite thing about school: one student said nothing. Spanish classes. I really don't like studying for tests, but I have to do it. Homework. I also found out if they had siblings. Um, the one that I liked the most was this one. Do you think you're smart? Why or why not? Or why not? Because as all of my students have learning difficulties, I thought the response was going to be negative, and all of them were very positive. Yes, I am smart because I am. Yes, I think I'm smart because I understand things. I think I am smart because I read and I love my homework every day and I learn new things every day. So it's very interesting to see that they have a growth mindset, even though sometimes I feel they have a fixed mindset. That is something that is in my mind, not in theirs. Here you can see some other questions like the extracurricular activities and what do they enjoy during the free time. And here you have some graphs about if they bring their own lunch to school, from 1 to 10, how much they enjoy writing and reading. So as you can see here, my students prefer reading rather than writing. And well, I think it was really interesting to do this survey to them because I think it's something that we as teachers should do at the beginning of the year to have more information about all these aspects that are so important for our students to establish meaningful connections and relationships, because I think this is the base of the learning. And also to know if your student have special needs. Like in this particular case, all of my students have a learning difficulties, but in a regular classroom, maybe this way you can find out if you have students that might need accommodations in the classroom, or students that might be struggling with the language. So I think this kind of interview is really helpful. The other one that I applied in this activity was about technology in the classroom. Three teachers answered this interview, and the questions were: what is your position at the educational setting you're working? Does the setting you work in use technology? Which type of technology does the setting use? What are the programs or technological tools that you use the most in your class? Do you think that the use of tech in the classroom improves how a child is learning or not? Would you change anything about the use of technology? Would you say that you enjoy using technology? And do you have any further comments about the use of technology in the classroom? In these graphs, we can see that all of the teachers, the three of them, enjoy using technology in the classroom and also use technology in the classroom. All these teachers work in the same school as me. Then in this slide, we can see some of the programs that teachers are using in their classroom, like Google Meet, Perdeck, Parley, Flipgrid, GoFormative, Kahoot, BrainPop. And when I asked them, do you think that the use of technology improves how a child is learning? Most of them said yes, but one of them said that depends on the student and their learning needs. And I totally agree, because I work as a learning support teacher and some of my students need physical resources to learn in a better way. So I think that is something very important to take into consideration in a classroom, to differentiate and give them many choices and options and ways of learning. Also, in these two questions, we can see if they would change something. They said finding a way to students to be more accountable with their own learning. I think that's very important. And also making it more transformative instead of staying on the replace layer. Which type of technology does the setting use? Again, Google Classroom, laptops, smart boards. So I think in the school where we work, because all of these teachers work with me, I think we have a lot of technology tools and resources. And well, that's something very positive for our students' learning needs. In this last question, do you have any further comments about the technology, about the use of technology? I think this one, the answers were really good because one teacher said, we're preparing students for the future when we include technology in our classroom, but we should always have a space for pen and paper. So I think sometimes our school is too technological and we don't give them the option to use basic tools that might be more helpful to some students. So I think it would be really interesting to tell them to not to use laptops for one day and to actually write with a pen and or a pencil. And also technology usage is a double-edged sword. It works for some and for others it's a nightmare. So we can see here the different opinions of our teachers. And some of my conclusions were that Get to Know Your Student service can give you important details about them that will help you establish meaningful connections and relationships. Teachers approve the use of technology and accept its many benefits. It depends on the learning needs of the students how positive the use of the technology in a classroom is. There is a great diversity of tech tools and platforms that support the learning process. And teachers admit that although they like to use technology in their classes, it also has its downsides. So the service is a very simple tool. There are many ways to do service online. I think we can gather a lot of valuable information, and we can get to know our teachers, our staff, our students by just asking them 8 different questions. So I think in my future as a teacher, I'm going to apply this more often. And especially with my students, I will try to create this kind of service at the beginning of the year and in the end of the year to gather some feedback.